the Arab League, sir, has condemned Israeli attacks on Lebanon. How much political pressure can the League realistically exert on Israel, and what are the limitations for their influence? Your take, sir, please.
I think the Arab League, with the good relation with America, especially for that time, America is considering to a certain extent that they have to listen to the Arab community, especially what's coming on with the election. There is a lot of pressure from the Arab, American Arab in different states in America. I believe that there is kind of pressure. Administration of America has to listen carefully and give some kind of advice to Benjamin Netanyahu, because the situation cannot be continuously like that, escalating from one part, and the whole world is watching, and nobody is happy with what Benjamin Netanyahu is leading the world to a very difficult conflict.
We move on to Dr. Fares. The Lebanon-Israeli conflict could potentially escalate into a wider regional confrontation. From your perspective, sir, how likely is it that other nations might get involved, and how would that shift the dynamics at this point?
It's a very important question, because now we are on the verge of an all-out regional war, because there are many front lines that may be open if Israel
Israel has been threatening to hit Iran since the 1st of this month, sir, and it did not yet hit Iran.
The strike is coming because
so it's coming, it's coming.
ولكنها أتى لا محالة, because the Israeli cabinet is trying to implement a hit against Iran. There is a real vision. Israel is striving to strike Iran, especially the vital and military goals or targets in Iran. And if Israel does so, Iran will respond, which will open other fronts in Syria and in Iraq, in addition to Yemen and Hezbollah in the south of Lebanon. All of these fronts will turn the land on fire, a fire that can never be stopped. Hence, the United States has to practice pressure against Israel in order to prevent it from this strike, and should practice pressure to reach a ceasefire in Gaza and in south of Lebanon. In my opinion, if the military operations continue in this way, there will be a direct confrontation between Iran and Israel in the region, which will definitely lead to a case of instability, not only in the Middle East, but also...
We're already in this phase, sir. Instability already exists. It's done.
It will increase even more.
Okay, it will escalate even more at this point.
If we want to stop this crisis, we have to stop the war in Lebanon, we have to stop the war in Gaza Strip. But now, this war will turn from being a war against Iran's arms. It will be a direct confrontation against a country that has lots of ballistic missiles and many weapons that can fight Israel with. If Israel targets nuclear establishments in Iran, Iran will also target Daimuna, Interactor, and the oil establishments in the Mediterranean of Israel by Iran. Of course, all of this will create an involvement in the region. It will ignite the war, and this war will continue for long years.
Thank you, sir. We move on to Mr. Maharim. Lebanese political factions like Hezbollah play a crucial role in the conflict. How do you think these factions will respond to the international diplomatic efforts currently underway in light of everything that Israel is doing to these, of course, other parties? And you know everything.
If Hezbollah is asked to be compromised, especially with the leaders of Lebanon, that can be something we have to look to the future. But again, I think what Hezbollah did for the last 2 or 3 weeks make Israel to think a couple of times that the escalation will not be on behalf of Israeli. So Hezbollah, I think, for this point, has to do a lot of compromise with the Lebanese government. It should be a kind of one vote, one voice, not different voice.
Sir, 10 seconds because I have to wrap up this episode. U.S. Special Envoy Amos Hochstein and Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul Ghait arrived in Beirut, marking a pivotal moment. How do you read this moment at this point at the end of this episode, sir?
Well, I think it's a good time that they both meet. This is his visit number 6 to the region, or to the Lebanon itself, with the escalation from Lebanon. Mr. Ahmed Abul Ghait represented the Arab League. Arab League has to show how much they are concerned about the situation and how much they would like to do an effort with that visit. So hopefully, two of them, they are in Lebanon at that moment. I think it gives a kind of hope.